All right, let's talk about something, well, something pretty frustrating. We're digging into a classic from the Harvard Business Review by John Kotter to figure out why so many big, ambitious plans to change a company just fizzle out. But more importantly, we're going to look at a roadmap that can actually help you make sure your change effort succeeds. I mean, it's the million-dollar question, right? Think about it. A huge new tech rollout, a massive shift in company culture, a total restructuring. So many of these things start with all this energy and excitement and then nothing. They just sort of fade away. So, what's going on here? Why does this happen so often? And yeah, the author we're looking at, John Kotter, he does not pull any punches on this. He looked at over 100 companies, and what he found was that failure isn't just some possibility. It's pretty much the default setting. We're talking about the norm here. And the stakes? They are incredibly high. Getting this wrong isn't just a minor setback. It can be absolutely devastating for a business. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the change failure epidemic. Then we'll dive into Kotter's 8-step roadmap. After that, we'll cover laying the right foundation, engaging your organization, and making the change stick. Finally, we'll wrap up with your transformation takeaway. So let's start with the big problem, the epidemic of failure. And here it is, the single biggest mistake most managers make. They treat change like it's a single event, like a big product launch, or a single all-hands meeting, or just sending out a memo. But Kotter says that's just completely wrong. Real, lasting change isn't a flip of a switch. It's a process, a journey with distinct stages. And trying to skip those stages, well, that just gives you the illusion of speed, but it almost always ends in a crash. Which brings us to Kotter's 8-step roadmap, a proven framework for success. The whole idea is to treat change like the process it truly is. Kotter laid out this 8-step framework that's, it's sequential, it's super disciplined, and it's specifically designed to build momentum. You complete one stage, and that gives you the power to tackle the next. And by following it, you dramatically, and I mean dramatically, increase your odds of success. All right, so here they are, all 8 steps laid out. We've got establish urgency, form a guiding coalition, create a vision, communicate the vision, empower action, create short-term wins, consolidate gains, and finally, anchor it in the culture. Now, we're going to walk through these phase by phase, but just seeing them all together like this, you can really get a sense of the flow. And the key thing to remember is that each step builds on the last. This isn't a buffet. You can't just pick and choose the ones you like. Okay, let's dive into that first phase, laying the right foundation. This covers the first 3 steps, and they are all about setting the stage for change before you even think about rolling anything out. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. If you get this part wrong, the whole thing is pretty much toast before it even starts. All right, step 1, establish a sense of urgency. This right here is the make or break moment. Kotter says more than half of all change efforts fail at this very first step. The goal sounds simple, but it's incredibly hard to do. You have to make people feel, deep in their bones, that staying the same is way more dangerous than stepping into the unknown. We're talking about making a threat real, like a new competitor that could wipe you out, or a technology that's about to make your whole business model obsolete. So, how do you know if you've created enough urgency? Well, this isn't just about a gut feeling. Kotter actually gives us a number, a hard metric to aim for. He says you've only really succeeded when at least 75%, 3/4 of your management team, is genuinely convinced that business as usual is a recipe for disaster. If you have anything less than that, you are absolutely going to hit a brick wall down the line. So what do you need to do? You've got to honestly and openly examine the market for crises and opportunities, even if those conversations are uncomfortable. The big pitfall here? Underestimating just how hard it is to pull people out of their comfort zones. It's so easy to assume that just because you see the fire, everyone else does too. They probably don't. Okay, step 2, form a powerful guiding coalition. Look, big change is never a one-person show. It just isn't. You need to assemble a powerful group, a team of people with real clout, the right titles, the right expertise, and serious credibility. And this isn't just about the C-suite. It might be that super respected manager on the factory floor or the top sales director that everyone trusts. This team has to operate on trust, with a shared goal, often completely outside the formal, rigid company hierarchy. What you really need to do here is encourage teamwork that goes beyond the normal pecking order. The classic mistake, and we see this all the time, is to relegate this leadership role to a staff executive, maybe someone from HR or planning. Now, they might be brilliant, but if they don't have real senior line authority, if they're not in charge of a core part of the business, The coalition is just not going to have the power it needs to get things done. And that brings us to step 3, create a vision. This is so critical because without a clear, simple picture of the future you're trying to build, your whole change effort can just fall apart. It becomes a jumble of confusing, even contradictory projects, pulling in different directions. That vision, it's your North Star. It's the one thing that keeps everyone pointed in the same direction, no matter how chaotic things get. And Connor has this fantastic rule of thumb to test your vision. He says if you can't communicate the vision to someone in 5 minutes or less, you are not yet done. Think about that. If it takes you a 30-minute PowerPoint or a thick binder of plans to explain it, you failed. It has to be something you can explain quickly, clearly, and in a way that actually gets people excited. All right, so you've laid the foundation. Now we're moving into phase 2, engaging your organization. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's all about taking that vision and your powerful coalition and getting everyone else on board, mobilizing the entire organization. Step 4 is to communicate the vision. And let me tell you, leaders almost always drop the ball here. You might feel like you're talking about the vision constantly, like you're a broken record. But Kotter's research shows you're probably under-communicating it by a factor of 10, or maybe even 100. It has to be everywhere, in every meeting, in every email, in every casual conversation. You have to use every channel you've got. And here's the kicker. Your actions have to back up your words. The guiding coalition has to be the example of the new behaviors. Because absolutely nothing kills a change initiative faster than leaders saying one thing and doing the complete opposite. If your vision is about being customer-focused, but a top exec behaves in a way that's totally against that, you're done. That hypocrisy creates cynicism that will spread like wildfire. You have to walk the talk. Next up, step 5, empower others to act on the vision. So once you've got people excited and ready to go, you have to get the roadblocks out of their way. And these obstacles can be anything. It might be an old system, like a performance review that still rewards the very behaviors you're trying to change. It could be a bureaucratic structure that kills new ideas. Or sometimes it's a person, a powerful manager who is actively blocking the change. Whatever it is, you have to confront it and remove it. Okay, step 6, plan for and create short-term wins. Look, a major transformation is a marathon, not a sprint. People are not going to stay motivated for the long haul if they don't see some real, tangible proof that all this effort is actually working. We're talking about visible performance improvements within, say, 12 to 24 months. These aren't just feel-good moments, they're crucial. They silence the critics, they reward the people who are trying hard, and they provide the fuel to keep the engine running. All right, let's talk about the final phase, making the change stick. So at this point, you've had some wins, you can feel the momentum building, it's tempting to think you're in the clear. But the danger is absolutely not over. This last phase is all about consolidating your gains and anchoring that change so the organization doesn't just snap back to the old way of doing things, like a stretched rubber band. And this leads us right into the biggest danger of this whole process. It's the danger of declaring victory too early. You've had a couple of short-term wins, and man, the temptation to just breathe a sigh of relief and relax is huge. Everyone's tired. The people who are against the change are just waiting for a chance to say, see, we did it. We can go back to normal now. But this is the most critical moment. This is when the old traditions can creep back in and undo everything you worked for. I mean, listen to how stark Kotter's language is here. Declaring the war won can be catastrophic. He says that for a reason. Celebrating too early kills your momentum dead. So instead of stopping to pat yourselves on the back, what you have to do is use the credibility you've earned from those early wins to go after even bigger problems, the systems and structures you couldn't have even dreamed of tackling a year earlier. And that brings us to the final step, step 8, institutionalize new approaches. This is where you anchor the change into the very culture of the company. It has to become part of the corporate DNA. You do this by constantly showing the connection between the new behaviors and the company's success. You do it by changing who gets promoted. You start promoting people who are living examples of the new way. The transformation is only truly finished when the new way of doing things becomes automatic, when it's just the way we do things around here and nobody even has to think about it anymore. So, let's wrap this up. What's the big transformation takeaway here? I think it's this. Successful change isn't about finding a magic bullet or launching one brilliant initiative. It's about the journey. It's a long, disciplined, step-by-step process that requires real leadership and just plain persistence at every single stage. So let's look at that roadmap one last time. Establish urgency, form a coalition, create a vision, communicate it, empower action, get short-term wins, consolidate gains, and anchor it in the culture. Just remember, every single step is built on the one that came before it. Trying to skip a step might feel like you're taking a shortcut, but as we've just seen, it's almost always a shortcut straight to failure. So, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. As you look at this 8-step roadmap, think about your own organization, your own team right now. Where's your biggest challenge? Which of these steps is the one you're struggling with the most? Is it really creating that gut level sense of urgency? Or maybe it's communicating the vision over and over again. Because figuring out your weakest link, well, that's the real first step to making change that actually sticks.